since we have a whole company, I don't know, I was thinking like he could maybe train me like, you know, to take over the company, to keep the family name burning.
Did he really just ask to take over that man's business?
That's not gonna happen. It's just like, he's out of his mind.
Emily's dad reacts after Kobe says he wants to take over his architecture company, but he has no real experience. This gave me flashbacks to Andre wanting free handouts from Chuck.
Are you gonna give me the money or not? That's the thing is.
But at least Kobe respects Emily's dad.
Emily's dad is a big guy, and he's a little intimidating. I'm a little nervous.
It was an awkward conversation, to say the least. Let's talk about it. Hey 90 Day Fans fam, it's Melicia. Nothing major went down this week, but there are some key moments I want to show you to keep you in the loop and keep our conversation going. Before we get into Kobe and Emily, Shaeeda asked Bilal's 16-year-old daughter, Zaina, for the second time, how she feels about calling her Umi, which means mom.
In my culture, whether we are connected or not connected with an adult, we refer to them as Umi.
And as you can see, Zaina, who is so cute and confident, by the way, isn't feeling it.
Me and my brother, we call like her and my stepdad by their first names because that's like normal for us. I don't want to move too fast with the names. Still getting used to her, still getting to know her. She's my stepmom and all that, but I'm not ready to call her that yet.
Also, I get that it's a cultural thing for Shaeeda, but what's more important right now? Her calling you Umi or building a genuine relationship? Because look, this is a teenager we are talking about here, okay? They are quick to get turned off.
I hate when you do this. Like, you always try to, you always do that.
And oh yeah, Shaeeda and Bilal got in an argument this episode.
Wow, what a surprise. That's crazy.
She told him that he always feels like he has to win conversations with her. Basically, he's so attached to being right that he doesn't listen when she voices her concerns.
Every time I try to bring up a problem when it comes to Bilal, he deflects and he brings it back on me.
I have never argued so much in my life, ever, with anyone, ever.
Speaking of an argument, Jibri and his best friend slash bandmate, David, made up after they started physically fighting in the studio on last week's episode. Following David's comments about Miona and how she's distracting Jibri from his music career.
Like, I care about you. I'm not against y'all. I'm for y'all. I want y'all to succeed.
This doesn't feel like that.
I know it doesn't, because honesty is straight up. I'm just being truthful.
Is David really from Serbia? The way he talks, you would never know.
My mistrust was there, and I'm honest about it. And you should respect that.
He's such a smooth guy. Anyway, once they make up, interestingly enough, Jibri starts to believe that Miona is distracting him.
I'm feeling a lot of doubt about marrying Miona.
And next week, it looks like he's going to do something about it.
I don't feel any support from your parents.
Right now, they're saying they don't even want to come to our wedding.
Oh, that's absolutely fine.
That's not absolutely fine with me, though.
Jibri should grow up and stop thinking what they're thinking. You should focus on us if you want this to work. Do you want this to work?
If it's gonna be like this, no.
Miona's makeup looks so good. I know, random, but it does. Also, just a heads up, I'm talking to Eve soon about her relationship with Muhammad and his efforts to convert her to Islam.
I just feel like your religion is too confining for me. I'm a very free spirit.
If you have any questions for her, drop them below and I'll pick a few. All right, moving on to Kobe and Emily stressing her parents out, especially her dad. You can tell that this man wants to go off, but he's trying his best to hold his composure. Quick refresh. Last week, Kobe told Emily to
Shut the up.
I don't even need your help.
You're being so rude.
I'm being rude? Can you just shut the up?
And all of this went down in front of her mom. Essentially, Kobe was upset that Emily kept telling him how to clean up the horse. And he felt as if he knew how to do it. And she was just being bossy and controlling.
Either we're gonna figure this out or this is not gonna work.
After the incident, Emily made it clear that she will not tolerate the disrespect.
But do they do that in Africa?
I'm not sure how I feel about that comment, but Kobe went on to apologize. Now this week, they get to spend some quality time together without the baby and Emily's parents around, which they need. Because you can tell, they're starting to forget what it is they like about each other in the first place. Look at Emily on the way to their date.
Get your hand off of me.
I need to feel my baby.
Don't touch me.
Okay, let me
Stop.
touch you for the last time.
Stop.
Kobe found it funny.
All right, babe. Are you getting nervous?
Once it's time to ride horses, Kobe is hesitant at first.
I've never touched a horse in my life, but whenever we have, a little opportunity to spend time together, I'm just happy to do it.
Aww.
But he hops on. And it turns out to be a cute romantic situation.
I'm a pro, bitch.
Check you out, honey. Your first time.
Yeah.
You're doing amazing.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
I do feel like a proud parent. Look at you, babe.
But one good thing with us is that we don't let the fighting ruin whatever moment we want to experience together.
Yeah, you can tell that this date helped them re-spark the romance in their relationship. They have good chemistry, a lot to work through, but you can see how they fell in love. All right, they get back to Emily's house, and Emily sits down with her parents to ask if they can help pay for the wedding. And I just want you to pay close attention to her dad's reactions throughout the conversation.
Yeah, it's still so crazy that Kobe's here.
It is crazy.
Yeah, well,
Her dad is like, don't remind me.
yeah, well.
I'm spending my money taking care of you, him, and the baby.
We were talking earlier about how we haven't started planning the wedding. I think I'm just worried about money. So, would you guys help with that?
Mr. David is over it.
Currently, Lisa and I are paying for just about everything for Emily. So it's not surprising that Emily would ask us to pay for the wedding. But right now, we don't know him that well. So he's got to prove to me that he can provide for his family.
Because I ain't doing it. Excuse my grammar, but he left that part out. Emily's mom goes on to bring up Kobe telling Emily to
shut the up,
which is something her dad had no clue about.
He got mad because I was telling him what to do, and so he told me to shut the up.
Emily?
I am shocked and appalled.
That's inappropriate. That's total disrespect. I mean, oh, man.
People argue, so I'm not really that
People
worried
argue,
about it.
but
You cannot let him speak to you that way.
It was handled. It doesn't need to be brought up again. It's fine, and it was handled.
Emily's parents tell her that despite all of their concerns, they will help pay for the wedding. But she needs to grow up. They didn't say that, but we all know it's implied. And for context, Emily is 29 and Kobe is 34.
Are you going to keep coming back every couple of months and asking for other things? I mean, sooner or later, you're going to have to just say, we're on our own. She talks the talk, and she wants to move out, and she wants to do this, but she doesn't have a clue as to how to get from point A to point B, or she doesn't have a clue.
Sure, I can figure it out like everything else, so.
Yeah, I just don't see any evidence of that.
Emily has been spoiled by her parents, and I have too. But there comes a point where it hurts to see your loved ones sacrifice so much for you, when they have a life of their own that they deserve to fully live. Emily, it's time, girl. Make a plan, write it down, take the necessary steps.
So, Kobe, I mean, I'm supporting a lot of people here.
Speaking of a plan, at this point, Kobe doesn't have one. Emily's dad sat him down to have an honest conversation about how he's going to provide for his family. And to be honest, his answer had me nervous. So I can only imagine how Emily's dad felt.
As far as plans are concerned, Emily was like, maybe you could go back to modeling.
In Kansas?
There's no place like home.
Kobe then says he's interested in architecture, which is what Emily's dad does. He explains that he has experience in civil engineering. And the moment I start to think, wow, okay, this can actually work, Kobe says this.
Since we have a whole company, I don't know, I was thinking like he could maybe train me like, to take over the company.
I
don't know, I was thinking like he could maybe train me like, to take over the company, to keep the family name burning.
Kobe, y'all don't even share the same last name and he just met you. To make it worse, after he tells Mr. David he would like to take over his company, he shares that his experience in civil engineering is from high school.
Okay, you mentioned civil engineering, and I'm not sure exactly in Cameroon. Did you get a license there? Did you get a degree?
I had like high school.
Okay, but did you have any training after that?
No, I didn't have any.
And you want to take over? I know Kobe has good intentions. I do, but that doesn't make any sense.
Well, he's crazy if he thinks he's going to come in and take over my business, but that's not going to happen. It's just like he's out of his mind. If you want to become an architect, that's probably a 4 or 5 year program. You're going to have to figure out a way to pay for that.
The conversation ends with Emily's dad telling Kobe that he and Emily need to sit down and seriously figure out what they want their future to look like.
It's not party in the USA. It's work, work, work. And I hope you're ready for it.
Although it can easily seem like Kobe is trying to freeload off Emily's dad, when I spoke to him in April, he did express how grateful he is to Mr. David for his support.
First of all, him accepting me to live in his house without even knowing me, it's a plus. I'm just so grateful that I came into this family.
All right, next week, it's Benyam's first amateur MMA fight, and Ari is extremely nervous about him getting hurt.
What if I tell you I have a bad feeling about this?
Okay, Ari, all dolled up.
Don't worry.
And what if I ask you not to fight tonight?
I can't wait to see how Benyam does. With all the sacrifices Ari has been making, he better win. I'm just saying. All right, 90 Day Fans fam, make sure you stick with ET because we are covering it all. I will see you next time.